this is Sophie Pet-Sabine from Shut Eye. Good to see you. Today's video is going to be about bedwetting. And a couple of weeks ago, I was lucky enough to take part in a sleep retreat which was hosted by Huggies Dry Nights, the pyjama pants. And it was a really, really great day with some lovely parenting bloggers and some journalists from parenting magazines as well. And I was giving a presentation on sleep and how sleep can be affected by bedwetting and the importance of a good night's sleep. And I was joined by a nutritionist and a mindfulness expert as well. So really talking about how important sleep is for not only our children, but for us as well. But the day was sort of centred around bedwetting and how, that can interrupt a good night's sleep. So I did a quick video on the day just talking about it, but I wanted to come back to you just to give you a bit more information about it for, any of you out there that are going through bedwetting stage with some older children. And it really is older children that they were focusing on, so kind of like 3-4 years and above. So what we'll do is I'm going to talk to you about the causes of it and some of the solutions as well. So the first thing to say is that it's completely normal. Bedwetting can affect, I think it's around 900,000 children and young people in the UK, like it's every year. So, it's completely normal. That is a lot of people. So if your child is still wetting the bed at night when they were 5 or 6 years old, that actually, is not that uncommon. So the first thing to know is, what is normal and what isn't normal. And again, bedwetting is a part of normal childhood development, the same way as walking, talking, eating, getting dry in the day, getting dry at the night is a next step on as well. So be rest assured that whatever's kind of going on for you, probably it's quite normal. And there's a few reasons for it, and one of the reasons, I guess the main reason, is readiness. Is your child ready to be dry at night time? It happens at different ages. For some children it could be as young as 2, 3, and for some children it could be 7 or 8, and that is just normal. And a big contributing factor towards that is kind of family history. So if you, as a parent of a child that is wetting the bed at night time, if you were also a bedwetter until quite late on in childhood, then your child has a 40% chance that they kind of have inherited that genetic trait and that they will do the same. Now, if your partner or the child's father happens to have been a bedwetter as well, again into later childhood, then your child has a 70% more chance that they are going to be wet into later childhood as well. So, have a chat with your parents, find out what happened with you guys if you're experiencing this with your own child. Something else that might contribute towards it is constipation. And we sort of know that lack of fluid and things like that can contribute to constipation. But in a child, what's deemed as constipation to start with, and that means that your child is going for a poo less than 4 times in 1 week. So you might want to check that out. But the reason why is that there's the stools are building up in the bowel. And the pressure of that can apply to the bladder throughout the night time, causing it to release urine, much the same as myself at the moment, because I am 7 months pregnant now, and as we all know, when we've had a baby or when we're pregnant, that the pressure from the baby on the bladder in the day and night time is enormous. So it's just the same from a child's point of view with that constipation. So one to check out for there. The other thing is, which seems a little bit kind of counterintuitive, but your child perhaps is not getting enough to drink. So what we want is the bladder muscle to be working efficiently, so filling up and emptying regularly throughout the day. If it's not, it might be storing up a lot of urine in the day and then releasing that at the night time when the child is relaxed and asleep. And the last sort of cause as well could be something a little bit more biological, and the lack of the hormone called vasopressin. And vasopressin is the hormone that tells the body to release less urine into the bladder at night time so that we can hold on to it a bit better. So there could definitely be a medical reason why your child is wetting the bed at night time, but they are the main ones there. Of course, things like anxiety, a change in situation, where they're living, starting school, anything like that, anything emotionally can cause some temporary bedtime wetness as well. So what can you do about it? The first thing to know is, I guess the main thing is to arm yourself with knowledge, and have a look on the internet, find out what support there is available to you. Dry Nights, Huggies Dry Nights have a really, really great website with lots of information that is specific to ages of children. So you can kind of tap in the age of your child, answer a couple of simple questions, and it can give you some information to know what's normal, what's not normal, and where you can get some extra information from then. Another website is eric.org.uk, eric.org.uk, and they're a child continence charity, and so tons of information on there as well. So have a look on the internet, get yourself I guess genned up on bedwetting about what's normal and what isn't normal. But in terms of the causes that I've just said to you, some of the solutions that can be related to that, so something like the constipation, count how many poos your child is doing in a week. As I say, it needs to be 4 or more. If they're not, then perhaps you want to speak to the GP about some solutions for constipation to see if that's going to help alleviate the bedtime wetness. The drinks, a child needs to have 6 to 8 drinks per day, so water and juices and things like that. So again, counting how much they're drinking, making sure that they're having enough, and then making sure that they're going to the toilet enough as well. So making sure that you're taking them off to the toilet to regularly empty that bladder whilst it's filling up, so there's not lots of hours where it's sitting there and getting full and full and full. So make sure that we're exercising that bladder muscle. Another thing that parents tend to do is called lifting, and that's when your child is in bed at night and they're asleep, and you want to avoid them getting wet and disturbed in the night time. So what you're doing is actually picking them up out of bed when they're asleep and kind of carrying them through to the bathroom, popping them on the toilet or the potty, and encouraging them to go whilst they're still asleep. And so it kind of works maybe temporarily, but we don't encourage it, because what we really want the child to know, your child to know, is that they're going to the toilet, and we want the body to be fully aware that it's going to the toilet. So we don't really want it to be in a half sleep state and releasing urine, because you'd have to be doing that all the time for it to kind of know that it shouldn't be doing it in the night time. So avoid any lifting whilst your child is asleep. A lot of this as well is around communication with your child and understanding, what they're going through, and talking to them about, wetness, and making it, out to not be a massive thing, that, nothing to be ashamed of or to be scared of, that they can talk to you about it. And loads of praise. Kids like praise and hugs and positivity around it. So if they have a better night, lots of celebrations in the morning when they're not, they're not wet or anything like that. But don't kind of go the other way if they have a bad night, to say, oh, it wasn't a good night. Just kind of, that's a night in isolation. Move on from it. The next day is a new day when they can really, start again and try again. Give yourself a helping hand if you're staying at somebody else's house, to avoid that anxiety on your behalf, and then also your child as well. So perhaps you're going on holiday or staying with relatives. You can buy bed mats that soak up any accidents that kind of go under the sheets, and have pyjama pants as well. Pyjama pants are different to pull-ups for younger children that are just potty training. And the older ones are a bit cooler, really. They have some nice patterns on them. They look a bit more like pants or underwear or knickers. And the absorbency is relating to the age of the child. So your child maybe wouldn't feel so different to their friends that they've got these pyjama pants on when they're having a sleepover, rather than a pair of knickers or something like that. So prepare yourself in that way. If there is an accident at the night in the night time and you need to change your child in the sheets, get yourself prepared. Perhaps have some bedding laid out ready to go by the side of their bed, and their pajamas as well. When you're changing it, do so with a minimum amount of fuss and kind of interaction. Don't make it out to be a bad thing or it's a shame or give me a hug. Just, get it done. It's changing the sheets, getting your child back into bed as quickly as possible, and, in the dark as well, if you can do that as much as possible for you. And as I said, the last thing, it really is just about, it's not a big deal. It's, children will get there in their own time, and, not comparing them to a sibling or to a friend, another child of the same age. They will get there in their own time, and the less pressure we put upon them, the quicker that they're going to get there. So I hope that you found that really useful. I did. I've learned lots. I'm not at this stage yet, but I'm definitely going through the potty training stage. So it's been really useful for me to understand that as well. But if you've got any questions or want to know any more, then get in contact. But it's been good to talk to you, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.